Welcome to the next in our series of Rockend Rockstars. This time I'm talking to Emily Sim. Now, Emily is the head of property management for the Ray White Group, a team of 10 national property management experts in the field of business management and growth. Changed business performance is their ambition, and Emily and her team use technology as their greatest resource. No doubt we'll get to focus on that in our chat with Emily. Just by way of background, up until mid-2016, Emily was the principal of Ray White Balmain. The business began as a startup, which brings a lot of challenges on its own. And 4 years later, was successfully sold as a very good rent roll and sales business. In that short time, Emily was able to build a successful business with annual GCI of $1.2 million and a rent roll which boasted a very high market rent and also fixed term tenancy percentage. So a lot to learn from Emily in this chat. Emily, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to be talking to you. I didn't want to dwell too much on Balmain, but it would be really good for us to know if you could just tell us what were some of the biggest lessons you learned from that experience that you've been able to bring into your current position.
I think the greatest thing is walking a mile in someone's shoes. So certainly for me as a leader in the Ray White Group, having the empathy for our business owners who are in the position of small business ownership and particularly rent roll is probably the greatest learning. It's tough on the other side, particularly at the moment. And having been in that position, obviously I can share the insight and empathise more deeply for the position that they're in.
Yeah, you can't beat that practical experience, can you? I think there is a lot of theory, but when you've got that practical experience, you can bring a lot of reality to it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's much easier I feel like it's much easier to talk to them, connect with our principals, and really ultimately that's what we're here in the Ray White corporate team. We are here to support our business owners on their journey. So having been on the other side of that is a big plus for me. And obviously having my own business is always a school in leadership. There's no escaping that. So that was an excellent opportunity for me to do everything my own way and have my own team and learn those hard lessons. Fundamental.
Yeah, well, Rockend were very keen for us to talk to you because I guess like you, they like to bring a lot of reality to what they do as well. It's important for them to stay in touch and be talking to people like you about, what they should be implementing into the program, Emily.
Yeah. Well, it's such a wonderful time to be in property management now. It's for someone like me who's been in the industry forever, to actually see it changing and evolving right now. We're at the pointy end and, there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
Yeah.
So in terms of what's changing and what needs to happen, I think that's not particularly a new story, but how we evolve and which way we lean now is really interesting because it's not a one-size-fits-all model anymore. You do need to pick a strategy. You do need to pick software that supports your strategy, and all of those things point to leadership, which is, again, not traditionally something born out of property management. Property management, started life as a servicing a sales business, really.
Yeah, I mentioned in the outset there that you're using technology to build on what you're doing or to build it. How is technology shaping and changing how property management is done now?
Well, I think the biggest challenge that we've had in the property management industry, which is changing now, is around delivering on the property services side of property management. So if you just peel all the layers back to what we agree to do for our clients, the service offering that we provide, those workflows of things like maintenance, arrears, inspections, actually managing the tenancy for them. it's no longer possible to do that in the manual way that we've been doing it forever. So that's what's changing, and that's what technology can underpin now. It's not the only change. I think the change is a threefold, but that is the major piece. It's the technology piece. We need to be in a position where we can start to deliver the property services piece by automation, and we're starting to see that now. Rockend's new release with Property Tree is pretty exciting. It's got an integration with a maintenance app which can absolutely deliver on that.
Yeah.
The first sort of pieces of technology around inspections have started to flow, but the more we get integrated with third-party providers and the property management software, the closer we get to delivering efficiency and automation for those property services. And that's what we really need to be able to do to fulfill our commitment to our clients and then have the opportunity of having a real relationship with them.
How is it going to change over the next 12, 18 months, or will it change? Do you see that challenge being the same in a year's time, or is it going to evolve?
I think it's going to be the same in a year's time, because I feel like I've been talking about this for more than 18 months. One of the greatest challenges for our industry is that we are slow moving. We're already at that place in time where it is, change is always difficult for the best businesses, but we're at a time where our clients have such high expectations that change really feels like being on a knife's edge. But I think it'll be the same change. We need to evolve to coming off the tools for that manual delivery of property services to the automation piece. And the people that get there first will be the people that will really have the opportunity at client relationships and growth first.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I sometimes see technology like Property Tree as being able to free us up from doing the more mundane tasks, the things that can be automated, which would allow us then to do more of the really high impact stuff, which is getting face-to-face and having those important conversations, Emily.
I absolutely agree with you. That's where we need to go. But I guess the challenge is we're not going to be able to have an opportunity at a relationship with our clients, a real relationship, one where they refer us other business and their family members. We're not going to have that opportunity if we don't first deliver on what we promised in our management agency agreements or our Form 6s. And there's a real deficit there in the industry at the moment. You can survey your clients as much as you like, but at the end of the day, you just need to look internally and measure your performance for, are we delivering on our property services piece? And when we are, then we can get face-to-face with our clients and go into another gear.
Yeah, well said. I just want to change tack for a minute, if I may, and move you away from technology. Maybe we'll stay there, I don't know, but we'll see. What about market share? Can we talk about that? What have you observed top operators are doing to increase their share?
Well, that's all around landlord relationships and client relationships as well. But the best thing that you can do for your landlord client is look after your property managers, because what we know from the data that we analyse at our end is happy property managers breed happy landlords, and happy landlords refer clients, they become advocates, they get on the real estate journey with you. So what are you doing for the culture in your business for your property managers is the question. What is their leadership for the team? Have a look at your staff retention in terms of do they go every 2 years, or if their average length is 5 years? If you've got a great team, then there's absolutely every opportunity to be growing a business. Hard to do with a team that's churning.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember a decade, maybe even a little bit more than that, Emily, we used to think and say about property management that it was almost like an ancillary service to the business, that all the focus was on sales, and the only time the business owner became really involved in property management at the end of the month when the check would hit the desk. I'm hoping the answer to this is yes, but has that changed?
Yes, yeah. We're definitely not considered a service anymore. we are definitely a bona fide business model, and it's really been the last 10 years that people have called their property management business a business instead of a department. And the big change for that was when they started running a separate profit and loss for that business, and obviously measuring its performance. We saw trust accounts split out from one trust account to two, and that was the time. But the lagging piece on that, Kevin, is leadership. What's not commonly understood is that, it's like anything, you get what you put in. So if you don't have a leader driving the business who's not somebody that works in the business, they're working on the business and they're managing the performance of the team, which, as we've just discussed, is largely still manual, it's going to be difficult to achieve change or growth.
Yeah, because I think there was a moment in time when it really struck us about how important property management was to a business, when we saw a lot of really good boutique property management businesses open up in their own right and run very profitable businesses without any sales arm at all. And I think a lot of us realised then that we need to take it a lot more seriously. It was a moment in time.
I think every sales business is going to have an opportunity to have 200 or 300 managements on the side, and if you're happy with that, then largely you'll be running that as a department. But that model is becoming more and more and more under pressure, because property managers don't stay in a business where they're not getting leadership and they're not getting opportunity and career progression. So what happens is the property manager churns out, the landlords churn out off the back of that, and it becomes a really painful model to kind of keep going with. So the place we're in now is a place where business owners need to make a decision, and we've certainly seen some of our clients decide, hey, I'm out of this for now. I'm selling my rent roll. I'm concentrating on my sales business. It's not something that we necessarily advocate as a business, but I can understand why certainly some principals get to that place. And others have taken the opportunity to double down and buy another rent roll, double in size. We've seen that over and over in the last 6 months. So it's really about, as I said in the beginning, making a decision about what you want. Do you want a property management business? Because it's going to be painful if it just runs as a side department.
I think Ray White, as a group, signalled its understanding of the importance of property management when they came out with Living Here. Maybe you could update us on that. But that was my understanding of, the acknowledgement of the importance of property management in a business, giving owners the opportunity to actually develop that side of their business.
Yeah, Living Here was created to support our business owners who perhaps wanted to retire from the side of their sales business, but had a lucrative rent roll that they'd spent many years investing in relationships in and wanted to continue that, because obviously that's a really nice business model to have if you are, if you're wanting to not be in sales anymore, which is far more hectic. We still have a couple of businesses. It's not a driver for us. We're not looking to grow that network. That is a network that we purely have to support our business owners who want to simply just run a rent roll in their tail end of their career.
Yeah, can I talk about fees for a moment? And it's a question I've asked many property managers over the years, and that is, how do you protect against fees? With the understanding of the importance of building relationships, has the debate about protection of fees become less important?
No, I think there's always a debate about fees. We're certainly not in a place where anyone's comfortable with it. We are starting to see, with new technology entering the marketplace, we are starting to see different types of fee models. Certainly low-cost, high-volume business models are coming out, and the ones we see mostly in our group are high client services, high fee, and then we can, the fee for service model is up and about, certainly in New South Wales as well. So there's all different strains coming through, but ultimately it's back to strategy. Do you want to have a property management business? And if you do, what's your opportunity? And that'll be largely dependent on your demographic and therefore your client. In terms of, I think, in terms of fee growth, which is definitely something when you look at profitability of a business that we have to work on, it's back to client relationships, and that's back to the culture of the business and the leadership of the business. So it's all starts there, but it is absolutely an opportunity. We have some businesses in our group that have remarkably high fees. They even shock me when I come across them. And when I talk to them about how and why and how they manage to do this, there's a common theme.
What is it?
The team's been there for a long time with leadership.
That simple.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I say that in a glib way, that simple. It's not that simple to do, actually, because you've got it gets back to that thing you call culture.
That's the formula. It might not, it's definitely not simple. Leadership's not simple. No. But the formula is, leadership and measurement, and then systemization for your property services leading into a growth opportunity. And growth can be numbers of property, or it can be fees, as you're talking about.
Just another aside for you, what's the one piece of technology you wouldn't be without?
Well, I'm always amazed to see how many businesses don't have an integrated rent payment system, which is nothing new. I mean,
what do you explain that a little bit further?
A rent payment system is a piece of technology that basically the tenant, instead of tenants paying directly into your trust account with their rent, they pay via a rent payment system, which removes risk from the business for accounting purposes. It creates an efficiency for the automation of receipting of rent every day, and basically, it reduces risk around human error in that space as well, which, the Property Stock and Business Agents Act governs us for trust accounts. So the reason I mention it, and it's nothing new, it's probably not what you expected me to say at all, but the reason I mention it is because there's so many businesses that don't do that.
Really?
Really.
I would have thought that was a no-brainer. Like, it's so easy to get.
Which is why I'm taking the opportunity to mention it, because certainly there are so many businesses that are not using automated rent payment systems, which costs them money in bank fees. They lose efficiency around it, but also the risk is so high to the business. So that's a fundamental for me. In terms of something that's sort of new and flashy, that I think any time you can get software that integrates and automates a property workflow for you, then you're in front. So Bricks and Agent has just integrated with Property Tree, so that's a great efficiency there. Inspection Manager is something else that integrates with Property Tree. Anytime Property Me has an integrated inspection solution, anytime you can get automation means you're going to increase your efficiency and repurpose property managers for client management, which is where they should be.
Yeah, because these third-party bolt-ons that you mentioned there, they make programs like Property Tree so much more powerful, don't they? And so much more of a backbone to the business.
Well, the work's going to get done, and it's not. Sometimes work doesn't get done because it's not necessarily because property managers aren't great. They literally run out of hours in the day. So this is going to support them to be outstanding in their field, and it'll just become a much more enjoyable profession for them.
Emily, fantastic talking to you. Thank you for taking the time out of your very busy day. Congratulations on your work too.
Thank you. Thanks, Kevin. Nice to talk to you.